You know, the spirit of Christ and the spirit of this age are at enmity with each other. They are at war with each other. And mainstream media is nothing more than the mouthpiece of the spirit of this age. And anything that comes up in this country that speaks to the spirit of Christ will never get lip service in the media in this country. You will not understand this stuff, and you will not pick it up by watching the news or reading any of the newspapers that you're going to find in our country today. But I'm hoping that you can see the logic that I've painted for you in very, very few moments and understand that once same-sex marriage takes root in this land, it will be one step closer to the Supreme Court unshackling the government from the restrictions of the First Amendment and allowing itself to move forward to start silencing the thought and practices of Christians who believe contrary to the spirit of this age. Now, the leap that you need to make in the abortion arena is to understand the implications of this to the freedom of conscience when it comes to issues around abortion, because that will be the next battlefront over the rights to believe the things and practice that we believe on our First Amendment rights. Let me close by quoting a syndicated columnist named Bill Whittle. He said this. He said, "It is as if we know intuitively that at the height of every civilization's powers, something catastrophic seems to occur. There's a loss of will. There's a failure of nerve. And above all, an unwillingness to identify with the values and customs that brought us out of the darkness and into the light." And today, folks, we are heading back into the darkness because we have lost our will. There is a collective failure of nerve, and above all, there is a fear in our culture today and an unwillingness to identify with the values and customs that made this country great. And let me close by asking each of you a few pointed questions. Will future generations of Christians look at us and wonder why we slept? Will future generations wonder why we could not see the gathering storm clouds? Will our children and grandchildren question whether we were serious, intelligent people and conclude that we believed what we believed and were willing to fight for it? Or will they conclude that we live lives that were driven by frivolity, that we allowed ourselves to remain ignorant, that we were self-centered and self-absorbed? Will they say that we were a people that was incapable of adult foresight and adult responsibility? Will our children and grandchildren conclude that we took our religious liberty for granted because it was really of no value to us after all? Will we be the generation known to be the one that lost its will? Are we the generation that lost its nerve? Are we the generation that abandoned our culture and allowed the values and customs of the people of this day to push us back into the darkness? I wonder how many eyes are watching us today. I'm watching what's happening in our country, and I'm wondering what the saints that went before us, who made great sacrifices, would be thinking about us today. Do we think that we have the benefits of the blood of Christ, but we are free from engaging in the battle that he began over evil and darkness? The saints and the martyrs that went before us, that took a stand for the cause of Christ, do we think that somehow we are exempt from being a part of that battle and sacrificing to uphold the things that we know to be true and right and good in every way? Or are we too preoccupied with the comforts of our home and feeding our flesh and watching TV? Or are we ready to stand up to the challenge and say, I heard some things today that I didn't know, and I'm willing to take that step. I'm willing to vote my conscience. I'm willing to vote the right way. I'm willing to ask the questions of what do these people believe in and stand for. And above all, I'm willing to get out of my comfort zone And I'm willing to talk to people in my neighborhood and around me to make sure that they understand what's at stake. Go out and do it. We have to do it. This is an important issue. And I pray to God that He is with us and He gives us the strength through His Holy Spirit to be valiant warriors for the call of Christ. That's what's demanded of us and expected of us, and it's a reasonable duty, I believe. Thank you.